We are back. Dustin is not having any tooth pain, and life is good.
Yes, I can talk. I don't have an extra extension on my face anymore from the swollen stuff. Yeah, it feels good to be back. The mouth is back. Can you imagine? How can you have the mouth when I couldn't open my mouth? It was pretty tough to do.
Yeah, man. I was just kind of crazy because that was probably the least amount of time that I have ever not talked, or the most amount of time that I have never talked to you, at least on the phone or going back and forth. Because, yeah, you said every time you opened your mouth, you were like in tears. That's so crazy.
Literally, but I found an amazing dentist that yanked that shit out and we're good to go.
Yes, thank goodness. We're super excited to be back. And of course, we will be coming back with another episode of Everything's Okay in the upcoming week as well. So be sure to stay tuned for that. And everything is just rocking and rolling, guys. We are thankful for all of you out there. And if you want to start your own podcast, be sure to reach out to us. info@CrazyAntMedia, so we can have a conversation and have a little consultation session. We will have a conversation about all of the different aspects like equipment, what hosting website, and all of these different things. But we will also send you home with like this 14-page packet of everything that we discussed that is very in detailed so that you'll remember everything that we talked about. And I just think it's a great opportunity for other people to tell their stories or to talk about something that piques their interest. So I'm really excited for everybody to take advantage of that opportunity.
Hell yeah. And we've had another person reach out today. So I mean, people are already taking advantage of it. So if you're interested, I highly recommend you jump on in and let us know.
Yes, for sure. But now you guys know we love the entertainment industry. So let's dive into it. What's up, guys? Oh my goodness. Episode 233. Woo! Absolutely bonkers, man. I'm super excited to be back in action with your host with the most, myself, J-Lo Fantastic, and the one and only Mao.
What's up?
Guys, it's going to be a great freaking show. It is jam-packed, which is kind of crazy since a lot of things aren't happening in Hollywood, but there's so much happening still in Hollywood. I love it. It's so good. But before we tease the rest of this show, be sure to leave a rating on the podcast, comment below, and tell us what you actually think about this show. Because leaving a rating actually helps this podcast get seen by more people who enjoy the entertainment industry, and especially those who are trying to break into the entertainment industry. It's all about lending that helping hand, and that's what us here at Crazy Ant Media love to do.
Yes.
But man, oh man, we're going to be deep diving into everything that's going down in Hollywood. Oh my goodness. Oh, Danny Masterson, he got sentenced, and we're going to be talking all about that. Our YouTube channel has been blowing up since the last time we talked about Danny Masterson. So of course, we're going to have to be talking about it. It's going to be absolutely wild. And of course, we're going to give you updates on SAG-AFTRA and so much more going down in the entertainment industry.
Oh, without doubt. And the biggest news, I mean, Danny, I can't wait to dive into that. I don't think a lot of people are going to be like, they're going to, I don't know. I think you're going to be very surprised at the sentence because I know he was, but we're going to get into all of that. And I'm just so excited. Like you said, I'm just thrilled to be back and be able to talk about what we love so much. Our studio's making money. Are they losing money? When's this strike going to end? What is going on? Is there anything new to watch? Is that even possible with the strikes going on? We're going to tell you because the answer might surprise you.
Yes, of course. But before we get this thing started, be sure to head over to our website, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. We got the shirts, we got the hats, we got the sweatshirts. It's starting to get a little chilly outside.
Yes.
Fall is just around the corner, so be sure to check out our sweatshirts. And we have pajamas, some awesome Crazy Ant pajamas. Oh my freaking goodness. Everybody has been enjoying rocking it so far, and we just can't thank y'all enough for that. So just keep on doing what you're doing, and you will be amazing.
Yes.
That's for sure. But of course, like I teased a little bit earlier, we're going to be talking all about Danny Masterson and that whole case. Well, he has been sentenced to 30 years to life in prison after being convicted of rape earlier this year. Now, Masterson, best known for his starring hit Fox sitcom That 70s Show and in Netflix's The Ranch will be eligible for parole in 25 and a half years, but could spend the rest of his life in prison. The actor, who maintains his innocence, was convinced on convicted on two of three forcible rape charges this past May. Now, Masterson was accused of raping 3 women at his Hollywood Hills home between 2001 and 2003, which was during the time that he was on That 70s Show. Now, the jury convicted him of raping 2 women in 2003, but could not reach a verdict on the allegation of the November 2001 involving a former girlfriend. Though the jurors voted in favor of the conviction, Masterson, who was dressed in a suit and had slicked back hair and a full-grown beard, did not speak at all during his sentencing. Many of Masterson's Hollywood family members were in court on Thursday morning to support him at his sentencing. His wife, the actor, the model Bijou Phillips, was crying at the courthouse. His siblings, the Walking Dead actor Elena Masterson, Malcolm in the Middle star Christopher Masterson, and actor Jordan Masterson were all seated in the courtroom together.
Some tense moments in there. And get this, y'all. This is like where I cannot even believe. Masterson's defense, led by attorneys Philip Cohen and Sean Hawley, asked the judge for a 15-year sentence total. Like concurrent, back-to-back, just 15 years total. Now, Holly told the judge she did not intend to minimize the conduct of her client, but asked the court to consider her client's exemplary life, noting his community service, work ethic, and being an extraordinary father to his 9-year-old daughter who means the world to him. Now, prosecutor Reinhold Mueller told the judge, whether Masterson is a good father does not preclude one from becoming a violent serial rapist whose crimes were targeted and heinous, and he conducted his actions while women were incapacitated after drugging them. These are multiple victims over time on different occasions. After he raped the first, he had time to think about what he had done to that human being, and despite that, went ahead and committed rape again. And committed it again. Judge Charlene O'Malley said as she sentenced Masterson, quote, because she was clearly agreeing with the prosecution here, Mr. Masterson, you are not the victim here. Your actions 20 years ago took away another person's voice and choice. Your actions 20 years ago were criminal, and that's why you're here. I can't believe his defense attorney. I know you're trying to do your job, whatever, but really? He's a good dad? Newsflash, these women he fucking raped, they had good dads too, and they were good women too. Exemplary, like, what the hell, man? Like, that just, that did not fly for me whatsoever. It's like, are you totally discounting the fact that these women's lives were ruined, and now because he's a good, by the way, if you're a good dad, you don't fucking rape women. Like, I'm just saying, like,
yeah, especially like, if you have a daughter, like, what the hell is going on? I just can't, fathom what was going through his head. I mean, all the success and all the fame, we talk about how there is a dark side of Hollywood, and this is definitely a part of it. And I'm super happy that, his Scientology part did not interfere as it tried to do, but I'm glad that we got to this sentencing, because this is a win for the Me Too movement and for people who feel like their voices are not heard. So I'm happy we were able to come to this conclusion.
I think so too, because look, so many times we have to do these stories and we're talking about how somebody got a slap on the wrist, right?
Yeah.
And guys, we're a part of this industry. We love this industry. 99.999% of this industry are good people, but we all know that people are being raped every day in this industry, and it is being paid off, shoved aside, slid under the rug. So I'm hoping that this sentence finally starts to stop that shit and make people realize you can get convicted, you can go to prison for life, and hopefully we can start to see the change that we so desperately need, and get rid of these payoffs and these sweep it under the rug kind of stuff, that mentality, because this is crazy, man. And did you see that video from an interview that he did with Conan O'Brien, like way back in the day when he was still on that 70s show, resurfaced almost immediately after? And he's talking about how his accent was gone. And he's talking about, oh yeah, no, certain words just go away. Like, I have this guy who imitates me, and he's like, hi, I'm Danny Masterson. You want to touch my balls? And Conan's like, well, I guess the real question is, why are you asking anybody to do that? And he replies, well, because they're there and they need to be touched. And then Conan, here's the crazy part. Conan goes, yeah, I've heard about you. You'll be caught soon. And Danny Masterson replies, probably. Like, what the fuck? So, I mean, I don't even think, like, he legitimately thought he was going to get away with it. Like, that he was fine, it was entitled. Remember, the first trial was a hung jury and a mistrial, and he walked out all confident thinking, they're never going to retry me. This thing's over. I'm good to go. Well, not. So, I agree with you, man. I hope that, you know, I'm glad we got this verdict. I hope it sends a strong message to anybody else out there that thinks they can get away with that kind of stuff. And, woo! Woo!
Yeah. Oh boy.
25 and a half years, y'all. Like 30 years to life. He's got to wait almost all of that before he's even eligible for parole. And if you guys don't know, he's 47. So he will literally be almost 73 years old before he's even eligible for parole. That's basically a life sentence anyway. So
basically.
See you, Danny.
Yeah, exactly. Bye-bye, Danny boy. Bye-bye. Well, now giving you the updates on the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes. The WGA and SAG-AFTRA rallied on Thursday at Amazon Studios in Culver City to highlight their push for a bill that would provide unemployment insurance to striking workers in California. Striking writers and actors in New York and New Jersey are already eligible to receive unemployment benefits after 14 days on the picket line, but not in California, which is kind of odd. But Senate Bill 799, if it makes it through the legislature and signed by Governor Gavin Newsom, that would be changed. It passed through the Assembly Insurance Committee last week, and the legislator has until September 14th to send it to the governor's desk for signature. Now, the WGA West President Meredith Stetham and SAG-AFTRA Secretary Treasurer Jolie Fisher, who spoke before the Insurance Committee last week in Sacramento to support of the bill, were among the speakers at the picket and rally. Other speakers include SAG-AFTRA Executive Vice President Ben Whitehair, WGA West member Kayla Westgard Dobson, and IATSE International Vice President Thome Davis, and LA County Federation of Labor President Yvonne Wheeler. So we're hoping to get this passed because these guys need to get paid while they're on the picket lines. Something is better than nothing. It's probably not going to be something that's sustainable for a living, but of course, like I just said, something is better than nothing.
Oh, without doubt. And for all of you guys scratching your head going, wait a minute, why are some states that strikers are allowed to get unemployment? California, they're not, because the majority of the people, like in this case, striking, are considered contract workers. They're not full-time workers. When they go from film to film or show to show, they're under contract only for that specific thing. So contract workers are not eligible for unemployment. And that's why the state of California never passed it in full for strikers to be able to do it, because of this. So yeah, they need to fix that, because the majority of the people in California are freaking work in the entertainment industry. Yeah. And I feel like this needs to be a thing. That's not all that's going on, though. Two challengers in the SAG-AFTRA election are urging the union to bring in an outside mediator to help resolve the actors' strike, which has gone on now for nearly 2 months. Maya Gilbert Dunbar, who is running against Fran Drescher for president of the union, argued that guild leadership has been too passive and needs to show more urgency in restarting the talks with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. In a statement, Gilbert Dunbar said, and trust me guys, she did not hold back, quote, Chain your asses up to the door of the Sherman Oaks building to show how serious you are, because people can't afford this. Strikes were never meant to last months and months. An effective strike should be short and sweet. Now, Gilbert Dunbar is running alongside Peter Antico, who is running for Secretary-Treasurer. In an interview, Antico echoed Gilbert Dunbar's criticism, saying, quote, "I don't believe Fran is taking the correct course. You can't make any decisions with emotion. You have to have a neutral third party. You need to bring it in a calm voice that would help mediate it." Now, Drescher, who was first elected in 2021, is leading the union through its first strike and against the major studios in 43 years. The union is demanding protections against the use of training of artificial intelligence, as well as an 11% increase in the minimum rates and 2% on streaming revenue. The union membership voted 98% in favor of the strike authorization, as you guys might remember, suggesting that the membership is broadly aligned behind the goals of the strike. Now, Drescher has repeatedly denounced the heads of the major studios, even calling Disney CEO Bob Iger an ignoramus, and saying that the companies are motivated by greed. Now, we should note that as we're recording this very episode, the election for the next SAG president is actually taking place right now, guys. It's going on right now. They are submitting their ballots, and later on today, they will be tallying the vote. So we'll let you know on all of our social media accounts who wins. Be sure to follow us everywhere. It looks like Fran's going to hold on, but you never know. I mean, with this whole strike thing, and who knows? So as soon as we get a winner, we will announce it on our social media, guys. So stick around. Side note, also, SAG-AFTRA also currently voting on whether to authorize a strike against the video game companies. That's going to be tough, man, because, you know, a lot of these voice actors, they were still able to work because they were voicing video game stuff and weren't in violation of the strike. But now if they strike against the video game, then even they won't even... Oh, what a mess.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild. And I have to say that I don't necessarily disagree with that statement of her opponent saying that she has been passive, because she has been very passive and we've been very vocal about that. So, yeah, it's going to definitely be interesting. I'm excited to see the results. So we will keep you updated. That's for sure.
Indeed.
Well, heading over to Disney, the battle between Charter Communications and Walt Disney spurred due to cord cutting and is now getting very freaking tangled. Charter suggested last week that it might be ready to cut Disney networks from its programming lineup after the two companies reached an impasse in talks to extend their carriage contract. Now, Disney is hinting to Charter subscribers that they might want to cut their connection with the large cable distributor. Disney released a series of social media promotions Sunday evening telling Charter subscribers to consider subscribing to Hulu with its TV option, and offering that would get them dozens of the cable networks that they watch already via Charter. But it also some that they don't currently receive, namely outlets owned by Disney. Of course, we're talking about like ABC and all of the other different ones like ESPN. There's no contract, no cable box, and no wait time to subscribe, Disney said in a blog post on Sunday. The company introduced the option, which offers 90 different channels in 2017. Disney plans to issue a message about Hulu through many of its social media channels. Disney's Hulu maneuver represents just the latest bit of wrangling between the two companies, which appear locked in a battle that could upend the media industry. I mean, to just add on more things to the media industry.
Without doubt.
Disney last week yanked its popular TV networks, which included ESPN, ABC, and the Disney Channel, from Charter's Spectrum cable service, which reaches nearly 15 million homes, including many big markets like New York City and Los Angeles. At an issue, the company says is Disney's interest in seeking higher rates replaced against Charter's desire to gain more flexibility in the way it packages Disney properties. The Charter also wants to offer Disney streaming services like Disney Plus at no additional cost to its customers. a move that would erode some of the new business Disney has gained with these popular hubs. Charter has noted that the rise of the streaming services such as Disney Plus and Hulu has degraded cable. No shit. Forcing customers to pay for channels that have less premium content or for networks that may not regularly use, then spurring them to pay in a second arrangement for a streaming alternative. Now, we've been talking about it since the beginning of the streaming wars.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, streaming has freaking changed the entire entertainment industry. That's why these motherfuckers are on strike right now. Duh. But it's just crazy to me.
Yeah. And look, we've talked about it. Like you said, we've predicted. I think within 10 years, cable will be completely gone. It's all going to be streaming. That's going to be the only way to watch anything that you want to watch. That's just my opinion. I think that's going to happen sometime within the next 10 years. I think what Disney did was a brilliant move in counter, saying, hey, just sign up for Disney Plus and Hulu with live TV, and not only will you get all the channels that you're currently not getting, but you'll get even more, and it's cheaper than what you're paying for cable right now. So why even worry about it? Just come sign up. That was a brilliant move. And then they took it one step further and said they were going to get ready to offer, so your first 3 months would only be $2.99 a month. I bet Charter / Spectrum lost a shit ton of people that signed up immediately to be able to watch this stuff, right? I think that was... Some people think that Disney might have intentionally gotten into this little war to try to draw people to Disney Plus. I mean, it's... I don't know if it was intentional, but it certainly was a brilliant move in response to. So, I don't know. I'm pissed, though. I'm a huge U.S. Open fan. Anybody who knows, I'm a huge tennis fan. And Coco Gauff kicking ass in the semifinals. She's in her first U.S. Open final. And I still wanted to kind of watch her match last night because she was... And I couldn't! I fucking couldn't! I was so fucking pissed. If I can't watch the final, I will personally, when I am out in L.A., storm Disney. I'm just telling you right now, get that shit under control. All right.
Hey, man, we have ESPN Plus. You can watch it. We have ESPN
That's
Plus.
True. That's true. It's true, but I'm trying to make a point, goddammit. I'm trying to make a point.
It's fine. It's fine.
Sure. We are those people that signed up for all that other stuff. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right. I know you're super excited about this one, and I am too, man. This looks really good. And can I just say, Tom Hardy, man, he is like a chameleon. Like everything he's in, he's so different. I didn't even recognize him at first in this freaking trailer. Austin Butler, Tom Hardy, and Jodie Comer navigate the rough and tumble world of a 1960s motorcycle club in the first trailer for 20th Century Studios' The Bike Riders. Now, the first spot for the drama feature from filmmaker Jeff Nichols was released Wednesday ahead of its December 1st theatrical release. Michael Shannon, Mike Faist, Boyd Holbrook, and Norman Reedus. Can you have a motorcycle movie without Norman Reedus? I don't think you can. Round out the cast for the first for the film that premiered last month at Telluride Film Festival. Now, The Bike Riders focuses on Kathy, a member of the club called the Vandals, who recounts her whirlwind marriage to impulsive biker Benny. The trailer shows the evolution of the friendship between Benny and club leader Johnny as the Vandals become more engaged in criminal activity. Now, director Nichols wrote the script based on Danny Lyon's 1968 book of the same name that chronicled the Chicago Outlaws Motorcycle Club. So I know you're super freaking excited about this one. I mean, it looks amazing.
It does look really good. I'm happy Austin Butler just jumped right back in after Elvis because he needed that, that differentiality so he doesn't get stuck and typecast into that biopic role where he just is basically being Elvis playing a character.
Yeah.
So that was very nice to see. But the only freaking thing, you couldn't come up with a better name than the Bike Riders. Like, come on. I mean,
well, Easy Rider was taken.
I mean, that's fair. But like, Chicago Outlaws, like nothing. Yeah. Like,
why not just call it the Vandals? Like after the, after the bike. I don't understand. Just call it the Vandals. Bike Riders.
Just felt like that. I hope that's just a working title for now, like 1917 was when they started promoting that one. And then they changed it to 1917. But man, I'm really excited about the film. Don't get me wrong, but God, come up with a better name.
Yeah, yeah.
Disney Plus subscribers and customers can start streaming Pixar's Elemental animated adventure next week. Now, Elemental will hit Disney Plus worldwide on September 13th, coming 89 days after the movie's theatrical opening. Alongside the streaming premiere of Elemental, Disney Plus will also debut that day, making of the documentary of Good Chemistry, the story of Elemental, as well as Pixar's animation studio short Carl's Date, featuring the fan favorite talking dog Doug from 2009's Up. At the box office, Elemental stumbled a little bit out of the gate with the worst opening weekend in Pixar's history before rebounding over the subsequent theatrical run. In 11 weeks, the film grossed 153.6 million domestically with a global haul of 480 million. Now, I have a lot of promise and a lot of hope for this thing. So I hope when I watch it on Disney Plus, I will be happy with it because I feel like they are missing a little bit when it comes to the children animation, the family animation. So hopefully they can get back to that a little bit. I mean, you know, Marvel, Star Wars, like all the big franchises, they're making you a lot of money. Cult fandom, pop culture out the wazoo, but Disney comes family first. Children. So you need to get back to your bread and butter.
Yeah, I think this one will. I think that's why, like, initially it came out of the gate and everybody was worried and maybe were hesitant to see it. But it must be a really good story. Must be really good because it did start to gain traction, like you said. And it did end up making a ton of money at the box office from word of mouth to get people to go see it. So I'm thinking it's probably pretty good. I'm hoping it's good, like you. So yeah. I'm excited to watch it, though. This one, I don't know. I have mixed feelings. I was a fan of this franchise, and then I wasn't, and then I kind of jumped back in and was, but I'm not sure about this version of it. Ryan Murphy's American Horror Story Delicate has dropped its first official trailer ahead of the show's Part 1 premiere on September 20th at 10 p.m. on FX. Now, the season, which comes from showrunner Haley Pfeiffer, is described as a feminist update of Rosemary's Baby and is based in part on Danielle Valentine's thriller novel Delicate Condition, which follows a woman who becomes convinced that a sinister figure is going to great lengths to make sure her pregnancy never happens. Now, American Horror Story Delicate stars Emma Roberts, Kim Kardashian, Cara Delevingne, Matt Scherzy, but Logan, come on, Gilmore Girls, Billy Lord, Dennis O'Hare, Leslie Grossman, and Michael Jai Rodriguez. It sounds interesting, but Kim Kardashian, like,
yeah, I thought that was a very interesting casting choice. I never really understood that. But I honestly have never been a fan of American Horror Story, but honestly, I never really gave it a shot either. So I always felt like it was too far out there for me. I don't know. The horror, I don't know. The weird horror is a little taboo for me, I think. So, yeah, you know.
Fair enough. I mean, I thought the first two seasons came out rocking and rolling, and then I was like, what are we doing? They just kind of dropped. But, you know, you got to give it a shot, I think. You just got to ride it through.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Well, Goosebumps, Disney Plus's live-action series based on R.L. Stein's best-selling Skozik book series, is set to premiere on Disney Plus and Hulu on Friday, October 13th. The 10-part series from Disney branded television and Sony TV will drop the first 5 episodes as part of Disney Plus's Hollow Stream and Hulu's Huluween celebrations, with subsequent new episodes streaming weekly. Additionally, the series' first 2 episodes will air on Freeform on October 13th as part of its 31 Nights of Halloween programming. Now, I have high hopes for that one. I think that will definitely help, you know, bring back the kids. Because I remember when I was growing up in elementary school specifically, I mean, the Goosebumps books were so freaking popular. So I feel like, you know, hopefully that'll reel them back in. But I don't know about this day and age. I mean, are kids even interested in Goosebumps?
I don't know. That's an excellent question. But you can't pick a better day to launch your Halloween programming than Friday the 13th. Well done. That's a good one. Now, have you finished season 2 of How I Met Your Father?
Yes.
Yes. So I have to ask you a question. No spoilers for anybody, but do they reveal the father?
Not that I remember.
So, yes, I too have finished it, and I just wanted to make sure that I didn't miss something because I finished it, and I don't remember them revealing the father either. The reason I'm bringing this up is because if you were wanting to know who the father was, well, you're fucked. You're not going to find out because there will be no third season for How I Met Your Father. Hulu has canceled the Hilary Duff-led sequel series after just 2 seasons. News of the decision comes on the heels of Hulu also canceling the popular comedy The Great after 3 seasons, and Disney Plus not going forward with 2 new series, and canceling Doogie Kamehameha MD after 2 seasons amid company-wide streaming content cuts overall at Disney. Now, I'm really kind of bummed about that because how are we ever supposed to know who the fucking father was? I mean, we had some bets going on as to who we thought the father was, and now, like, Hillary, just let us know. Just let us know.
Yeah, right.
Make a little video, come out, and let us know so that we can clear that shit up. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. But this is even more reasons why we need to get these strikes over with, because so many good shows are being canceled. Like, we were fans of not only How I Met Your Father, but also Doogie.
Yeah.
So I feel like, this really freaking sucks. I just hate it. I hate it so much.
Me too, man.
But anyway, we're jumping over to Fox now.
Yes.
And they are bringing some repeats of 911 Lone Star to its fall schedule as it tries to remind viewers that scripted drama still has a place on broadcast television. Amid these writers and actors strikes, the move sees unscripted competition series I Can See Your Voice, which has completed production of its 3rd season and to mid-season. Now, season 4 of 911 Lone Star will air starting on Tuesday, September 19th at 9 p.m. after season 3 of Name That Tune. The hope is that it can get some traction for the return of 911 Lone Star with its 5th season once the dual strikes are over. It comes as the show's parent show 911 was not renewed back in May by Fox. Instead, it moved over to ABC, whose sibling studio 20th TV produces once the strikes are over. So we shall see, man. I just, I feel like everything is on the chopping block. If you are like already put out your 1st season, it was a massive hit, it does not matter.
Yeah.
It's all on the chopping block.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I'm a huge fan of 911 Lone Star. I never really got fully into 911, but I love 911 Lone Star. So yeah, I mean, just showing reruns, I don't think that's going to regain traction for anybody. Right. I mean, I'm highly anticipating the upcoming season. So I already watched all the other ones. I don't want to watch them again. So I'll give Paramount some credit. They had a more creative solution for filling in one of their gaps. We'll get to that in a little bit, but it wasn't reruns. Let's jump over to Warner Brothers Discovery, guys. Warner Brothers Discovery expects... And let me just say, I'm not sure this is the wisest strategy to put out there if you're trying to, get the upper hand in the strike. Warner Brothers Discovery expects that the ongoing Hollywood strikes will have a $300 to $500 million negative impact on the company's 2023 earnings. Now, in an SEC filing on Tuesday of this week, the David Zaslav-led media giant stated it was expecting lower adjusted earnings for the full year between $10.5 to $11 billion, based on the projection that the continuing WGA and SAG-AFTRA work stoppages will mean a hit of $300 to $500 million for the company. Now, the WGA strike, as we told you, began on May 2nd after it failed to ink a new deal with the studios. SAG-AFTRA joined them on the picket lines on July 14th. Now, aren't you just trying to give the power to the strikers? Oh my gosh, you're on strike and you're costing us $500 million. Okay, well then we're going to stay on strike even longer if we're costing you that much money until you pay us. You're basically putting it out there that they are damaging you by staying on strike. What are you trying to do there? I just wouldn't come out publicly and say, hey, your strike is costing us all this money. Don't you? Because on one hand, they're going, we can't pay you. You don't deserve to get paid and everything. And, oh, by the way, you're costing us all this money. So now we'll never be able to pay you. Like, I don't know. I don't know. You're giving all the power to the strikers, which good, because we're in support of the strikers. But I'm just saying, just another move by Zaslav that is questionable. Like, I don't know.
Well, let's be honest about it. It's all questionable. Speaking of questionable, this next move, oh my freaking goodness. Last show, we did talk about Greg Berlanti and what is next for the man. Well, nothing at Warner Brothers Television because they have suspended overall deals with more A-list marquee producers that include Greg Berlanti, Bill Lawrence, John Wells, Chuck Lorre, and Mindy Kaling, as well as J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot shingle. What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Some of those names include Wells and Lorre, who have had their deals suspended earlier. The news comes months after Warner Brothers Television, along with Amazon, HBO, Warner Brothers TV, NBC Universal, Disney, CBS Studios, and other major studios had previously suspended some of their first look deals and overall deals amid the ongoing writer strikes. Those suspensions took place back in May as soon as the WGA strike begun, and it didn't include producers who still had shows in production. At the time, this was prior to SAG-AFTRA strike had started, which meant actors were still on some sets, which production continued on shows that had already been written. Such a deal suspension is different from overall terminations, which so far have not been widely seen in this industry. Even though the writer's strike has already passed the 90-day mark, when historically dealmakers had the option to kill agreements in the face of an act of God. A common term the show business's interpretation for how the phrase force majeure applies to these type of labor shutdowns. Overall deals typically pay overhead for a writer's company and fund the development of project. First look deals also provide financial padding and in return guarantee that the studio or company has favored nation status when it comes to determining potential distribution of a series or film. Just what the actual fuck? There's some legendary names that I just mentioned in that story. I just, you're not holding on to anybody. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, no. And I mean, I'm glad you clarified the difference between suspension and like totally terminating it. I mean, I guess with just suspending them, Warner Brothers can decide to reactivate those agreements or whatever at some point. But I think if this thing continues to linger, it is going to be a terminated contract, and they're never going to get the deal. I mean, it's getting bad, man. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. That maybe, like you said, well, let's go back to what we talked about at the top of the story with the WGA. Chain yourselves to the fucking doors, show you're serious, and get something done, damn it. This thing is lingering. I don't think anybody realistically thought when they were saying it could last to the end of the year, I don't think anybody believed that was true. Now, it is certainly looking like it might be true, which is terrifying to me. Hey, we just talked about how the Friday the 13th, Disney was trying to get in on Halloween early with releasing stuff on Friday, October 13th. Well, Warner Brothers is getting in on it even earlier. The countdown to Halloween for them has officially begun with The Nun 2, the 9th and latest chapter in Warner Brothers' The Conjuring universe, hitting theaters this weekend, today. It's going to be amazing. The horror movie scared up 3.1 million in previews last night at the box office. The movie is expected to open around 30 million to 33 million over the weekend, a drop from the record-setting original movie, but enough to scare away Denzel Washington and Sony's The Equalizer 3. Now, the first Nun movie, released, I can't even believe it was this long ago, all the way back in 2018, scored the highest opening of a movie in the Conjuring universe with 53.8 million. And it's the series' highest grossing worldwide with 365.5 million at the box office. Now, The Nun 2 marks the first Conjuring movie released after COVID-19. The previous entry, 2021's The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, was simultaneously launched on HBO Max and in theaters. Now, in terms of the entire series, The Nun 2 is aiming to land somewhere in the middle of the pack, likely beating the opening weekends of Annabelle Come Home, which had 20.3 million, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It with 24 million, and The Curse of La Llorona with 26.5 million. And it's likely to come in right behind Annabelle Creation with 35 million. Now, if you guys are worried, star Taissa Farmiga will be back, starring as, of course, if you didn't know, she's the sister of the Conjuring star, Vera Farmiga, but she is returning as Sister Irene in The Nun 2, 4 years after vanquishing the demon nun and the evil possessive entity Valak. Things get hellishly twisted once again, this time at a boarding school in France. There you go. I liked the first Nun movie. It wasn't like terrifyingly, oh my god, jump scares awesome, but it was a good story, and I like that the Farmiga sisters are kind of like, because The Nun takes place well before The Conjuring, right? So I love how they're doing the younger sister playing. I'm a fan.
I am too. I thought it was a really good concept and a really good premise, especially bringing in, like, I wonder if the sister had to audition for the nun after, obviously her sister's success in The Conjuring. So it's very interesting, and I love that they keep it all in the family. That's really cool. Well, more than a decade after its 2007's debut, Will Smith's post-apocalyptic horror, I Am Legend, is receiving a sequel.
Oh, shit!
After signing a multi-year deal with Warner Brothers, I Am Legend writer Avika Goldsman confirmed that I Am Legend 2 is in the works. Yes. The original film grossed $585 million worldwide, serving as an adaptation of Richard Matheson's 1954 novel of the same name. Now, it stars Smith in the lead role as the Robert Neville, a survivor of a man-made plague who works to find a cure. Details surrounding the film are kept under wraps, but a little bit about I Am Legend 2 has slipped out there, and Smith will reprise his role as Robert Neville, alongside the one and only Michael B. Jordan.
Yes.
Though details surrounding his character have been kept under wraps. Additionally, both Smith and Jordan will serve as producers of I Am Legend 2. Now, Goldman revealed that the sequel will follow the ending of Matheson's novel and the original film's alternative ending, in which Smith's character does survive, which I was trying to go back in my brain and remember. I was like, I thought he freaking died.
Yeah, no, I was about to ask you the same thing. It's like, how is he coming back? He died, but that makes sense because in the book he did not. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know they released an alternate ending. I had no idea they had one that showed him survive, but...
Yeah, I just remember him killing his dog, and then all the fucking all the zombies were coming in after him.
Yeah,
but just I think this is one of Will Smith's biggest movies, so I'm excited to see it come back.
Oh yeah, and the dynamic between Will Smith and Michael B. Jordan is going to be really interesting to watch. I think that's going to be something special right there. Well, I can't believe this one. This one I feel like has been on for the majority of my life, and it basically has for half my life anyway. Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel, coming to an end at HBO. The Sports Talk series has been part of the premium cabler's lineup for 29 years. Gumbel first launched the series in 1995, and it has aired over 300 episodes to date. Now, he said in a statement, quote, "Since day one at Real Sports, we've consistently tried to look beyond the scoreboard and focus instead on the many societal issues inherent in the world of sports. In the process, we've had the opportunity to tell complex stories about race, gender, class, opportunity, and so much more. Being able to do so at HBO for almost 3 decades has been very gratifying. I'm proud of the imprint we've made, so I'm ready to turn the page. Although goodbyes are never easy, I've decided that now's the time to move on." Real Sports has won 37 sports Emmys throughout its run, as well as 3 Peabody Awards. Each episode consists of multiple stories set within the world of sports. The show has featured a number of prominent correspondents as well, including Soledad O'Brien, Ariel Helwani, James Brown, Jim Lampley, and many, many more. Yeah, it's a great show. Think 60 Minutes, but sports. It's kind of like that. And it was really, really good. And I mean, that's a really nice statement, but is it because he's ready to move on, or is it because they're ready to get rid of it? Well, I mean, I guess we'll never really know, right?
Yeah, that's the question. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, it's older than me, so that's interesting. Just saying, just throwing that out there.
It'd been on since before I was born.
Yeah, literally. Well, jumping over to Paramount Plus saw its first price increase this year with the launch of Paramount Plus with Showtime. And Paramount CEO Bob Bakish says it won't be the streamer's last. The goal is to hike up the cost of Paramount Plus with Showtime once again at some point in the next 2 years. In February, Paramount revealed that the monthly price of the premium Paramount Plus tier with Showtime will raise to $11.99 per month from the $9.99 at present. The essential tier without Showtime with advertising will climb to $4.99 or from $4.99 to $5.99 per month. Those price hikes came after the rollout of Paramount Plus with Showtime launch in June. So far, Bob Bakish says Paramount has not seen a negative impact on the subscriber count due to the raise of cost. On August 7th, Paramount said Paramount Plus added 700,000 paid subscribers in its to its Paramount Plus subscriber base to reach 61 million in its quarter 2. Results reflect the effect of price increase, and the switch to Paramount Plus with Showtime will come when Paramount reports for its third quarter earnings later this fall. I mean, all the freaking streamers do this, and I feel like, I'm not surprised by it, especially with adding Showtime. So it is what it is.
Yeah. I was one of those people that had already had the package because I signed up for a package deal because I signed up when it was still CBS All Access and then switched to Paramount Plus and then became, so I was in on all that anyway. But and that's probably why not a negative impact, right? Because most people only had Paramount Plus and didn't have Showtime. So they were like, well, that's worth a couple extra bucks, right? But now we'll see. Now we'll see if it will have a negative impact because you already have both and now you're being asked to pay more for it again. So we'll see. I will because I love it. I think it's a great service. I love everything that's on Paramount Plus, and Showtime obviously has got a bunch of cool stuff too. So we'll see. It's worth $11 to me. That's all I'm saying. We also got, speaking of great stuff on Paramount Plus, we got an exclusive first look at the Paramount Plus's finest kind from Oscar winner Brian Helgeland, starring Jenna Ortega, Tommy Lee Jones, Ben Foster, and Toby Wallace, ahead of its premiere later on today at the Toronto Film Festival. Now, the film is set for a November premiere exclusively on Paramount Plus. Written and directed by Helgeland, Finest Kind tells the story of two brothers raised in different worlds who are reunited as adults over a fateful summer. Set against the backdrop of a commercial fishing, the story takes on primal stakes when desperate circumstances force the brothers to strike a deal with a violent Boston crime gang. Along the way, a young woman finds herself caught perilously in the middle. Sacrifices must be made, and bonds between brothers, friends, lovers, and a father and his son are put to the ultimate test. That sounds deep, but I'm all in, man. I'm a huge fan of Jenna. I think she's amazing, and I mean, come on, Tommy Lee Jones, anything with Tommy Lee Jones, it's going to be good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Jenna's just been everywhere nonstop. So, I mean, congratulations to her. She is like the new Bobby Brown, Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I mean, it's so freaking awesome to see such a young talent just succeeding so well. Oh my goodness. We're super excited because we're super big fans of this show. The supersized season of Survivor is finally here. After 23 years and 652 episodes, CBS's reality competition series is back with the one and only Jeff Probst. For the first time, though, Survivor will feature all 90-minute episodes.
Yes.
So that'll be interesting to see how that comes across to the viewer. Instead of the usual hour episodes, diving deeper into the 18 players' backstories as they live and stranded in Fiji. Season 45 will feature treacherous new elements and navigating an ever-shifting social game, as the contestants are divided into 3 tribes of 6 for a faster and grittier season.
Oh.
Despite the changes and updates over the last 23 years, the ultimate end goal remains to the win or the same outwit, outplay, and outlast. In the end, only one will win the $1 million prize and the title of Sole Survivor. Hosted by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Jeff Probst, Survivor is currently nominated for 3 Emmys, including Outstanding Reality Competition Programming, kicking off September 27th at 8 p.m. The CBS series will also stream on Paramount Plus, both live and on demand for Paramount Plus with Showtime subscribers. The cast includes 17 new faces and one familiar, season 44's Bruce Perrault, who was medically evacuated on the first day of the last season after suffering a concussion. So that's awesome they brought him back.
Yeah,
because
heck yeah.
I mean they had a couple of injuries last season that I felt really bad for. I mean, that one guy dislocated his shoulder. This guy had a concussion. Like, it was wild, man.
Yeah, no. And, you know, at least my man with the dislocated shoulder, he got to still try and give it a little bit of an effort and see if he could do it. Yeah, but when you're knocked out with a concussion and have to leave, you didn't even get to get any gameplay. So I'm so glad that they are bringing him back. I felt like that's the fairest thing to do, is give this man a legit chance to try to win it, right? Like, yeah, that's awesome. All right, let's jump over. This is what I was talking about with not reruns. This is a more creative attempt at trying to fill some slots when your most popular show won't be having new episodes. CBS released a first look at the first ever international edition of their hit NCIS franchise, NCIS Sydney. The 8-episode season of NCIS Sydney, originally commissioned by and for Paramount Plus Australia, will air Mondays beginning Monday, November 13th on CBS and stream on Paramount Plus here, with plans eventually to air globally on Paramount Plus in its territories. Now, NCIS Sydney stars Olivia Swan as NCIS Special Agent Michelle McKay and Todd Lassence as her second ICAFP counterpart, Sergeant Jim J.D. Dempsey. The series also stars Sean Sager, Tuuli Narkle, Mawarverney, Hazel, and William McInnes. I like his name, William McInnes. Good one. Here's the log line, and just in case you were wondering. Filmed against the spectacular backdrop of one of the world's most breathtaking harbor cities, NCIS Sydney is the first ever international series from the global NCIS franchise outside of the U.S. and sees rising international tensions in the Indo-Pacific. The brilliant and eclectic team of U.S. NCIS agents and the Australian Federal Police are grafted into a multinational task force to keep naval crimes in check in the most contested patch of ocean on the planet. So, yeah, so how do you fill NCIS as missing plug? Take a show NCIS Sydney and just air it in America. I mean,
it's fine.
I mean, it's still NCIS. They just have accents. It's fine. It's okay. So, I mean,
That's hilarious.
At least it's creative. At least it's not reruns, right? At least it's first run episodes. So, I mean.
Exactly. You got to do what you got to do, man. That's
exactly.
for freaking sure. Well, Damian Wayans Jr. will host CBS's adaptation of the game show Raid the Cage with Janie Mai Jenkins co-hosting with him. The series, first revealed by Deadline, launches on Friday, October 13th at 9 p.m. It is the latest CBS show for Wayans Jr., who is also executive producing the series after his comedy Papa's House, which he stars in alongside his father, Damian Wayans Sr. was picked up to series. Maya Jenkins previously hosted The Real and has hosted the 71st Miss Universe competition and worked on the shows such as ABC's Holy Moly and America's Test Kitchen: The Next Generation. Now, Raid the Cage which is based on a Israeli format, features two teams of two facing off to grab and go with prizes from the cage before their time runs out and the doors close. Correctly answering questions adds seconds to the clock, giving teammates more time to grab prizes from the cage. After 3 rounds, the team who banks the highest total dollar value in prizes wins the game, keeps what they have grabbed so far, and plays the final round for even bigger prizes, including a brand new car. So, I mean, that sounds interesting. And I mean, of course, reality television. Gotta do what you gotta do.
Exactly. And so I'm guessing by that description, you have to get out of the cage in order to keep all the stuff. Like, so if you don't get out and the door closes and locks, you don't get to keep any of that shit you got. That would suck. Like, I'm just saying, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I am super pumped. I know you are too about this one, because this one was in question after the snowplow accident. I don't think anybody thought Jeremy Renner was coming back for anything, right? Yeah. It was all kind of just like, is he going to quit acting? Well, apparently not, guys. Why? Because Mayor of Kingstown has been renewed for its 3rd season at Paramount Plus. The renewal of the series from Taylor Sheridan and Hugh Dillon has been rumored for months. Now, Renner will be returning to Mayor of Kingstown following his extensive recovery process after he was critically injured, as I said, in a January 1st snowplow accident in which he broke more than 30 bones. Season 2 of the series debuted 2 weeks later on January 15th and was wrapping up with its March 19th run. Mayor of Kingstown is believed to be one of Paramount Plus's top performing original dramas, only trailing 1923 and Tulsa King while in season. So I'm just super pumped to hear that. I'm glad he feels like he's rehabilitated enough and getting back into a point where he can, because this is not an easy series to do, right? I mean, his man is in a lot of stuff a lot of the time, and like I feel like it's got to be pretty strenuous. So the fact that the network and him feel like he's capable of doing it and coming back, I'm pumped for that, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And so much respect for him, man. I mean, you know, at first everybody was like, you know, what's he going to do? He was on the brink of death, basically. But I just feel like he is such a unique individual. Like, if that happened to me, I'd be fucking done.
Yeah,
He's got plenty of money. Like, I'd be like, okay, it's time to just chill out, do whatever. But, I mean, much respect to him and his love for the craft. So, I mean, it's a beautiful thing to see.
Oh, without doubt.
Now, Paramount Plus has set a premiere date for the epic Western series Lawman Bass Reeves. The series, which stars David Aiello as Reeves and boosts Taylor Sheridan among the executive producers, will debut with its first 2 episodes on November 5th in all Paramount Plus markets. The show has revealed its first trailer, which can be seen now. The official description of the series states that it follows the journey of Reeves and his rise from enslavement to law enforcement as the first Black U.S. Marshal in west of the Mississippi. Despite arresting over 3,000 outlaws during the course of his career, the weight of the badge is getting heavy, and he wrestled with its moral and spiritual cost to his beloved family. The cast of the series also includes Lauren E. Banks, Demi Singleton, Forrest Goodluck, Barry Pepper, Donald Sutherland, Dennis Quaid, Shay Wingham, Garrett Hugland, Jaquana Kalengo, Lonnie Chavis, Grantham Coleman, and so many freaking more. It was announced in April that the show had shifted to an anthology format, meaning that any potential future seasons will follow other iconic lawmen besides Bass Reeves. So that's very exciting. And I mean, Taylor Sheridan, I just feel like keeps putting out good content. He hasn't missed yet, so we'll see how this one is as well.
Yeah, well, if it's half as good as the trailer looked freaking amazing. And like when it said, you know, that even though he had caught all those people, the weight of the badge was, there's this great line where this kid asks him, you know, are you a lawman or an outlaw? And his answer is, Both, I reckon. So like he's questioning whether what he's doing is actually right. You know what I mean? And so yeah, it looks really, really good.
I haven't seen the trailer yet, so I'm super excited about it.
Oh yeah, definitely check that one out. Jumping over to NBC Universal, and this one, the way Disney has been telling everybody to sign up for Hulu, you knew this one was coming. If you guys remember, we told you way back on the show, like almost a year ago, I think, that come 2024. Disney was going to buy the rest of Hulu, the other 25%, from Comcast, right? Well, guess what, guys? They've pushed up that date. Not 2024 anymore. Comcast and Disney last week signed a modification to their agreement to bring forward the timing of their sale talks for Comcast's stake in Hulu to the end of the month, September 30th. Currently, Comcast owns 1/3 of Hulu and had set a pact with Disney, which owns the other 2/3, to begin talks to sell its stake to the Mouse House in January of 2024. Now, Comcast CEO Brian Roberts said this week, all the synergies around Hulu could be worth $30 billion before you even ascribe a value to Hulu itself. Now, according to Roberts, the previous minimum that they agreed on of $27.5 billion valuation for Hulu was just a hypothetical. And the company is way more valuable today than it was when that number was set 5 years ago. He concluded by saying that proceeds from Comcast's sale of its Hulu stake would be returned to the shareholders. So that's good. But I love how he's like, no. That was 5 years ago. That was it. It's worth way more now. And he's right. I mean, Disney has built Hulu up into like this massive thing, so he's not wrong. I think it is going to cost Disney a bit more than $30 billion to get the rest of it. So you got to do what you got to do.
You really do, man. You really do. And that's not the only big news coming out of NBC Universal. Entertainment executive Liz Jenkins has been named to the newly created role of Chief Business Officer for NBC Universal Studio Group. The former COO of Reese Witherspoon's Hello Sunshine joins the company with an expansive title to oversee strategy and business operations, reporting to the studio chairman and chief NBCU content officer, Donna Langley. Now, Jenkins will serve as a connective tissue within the company's content business, which Langley assumed control of in July of the reorganization led by Comcast president Mike Keneval. Now, Jenkins takes her post later in September. She also joined Hello Sunshine back in 2018 as CFO. There, she was responsible for establishing and overseeing finance, business affairs, operations, physical production, and music, as well as facilitating the growth of the company's content and direct-to-consumer businesses. So, a lot of shit.
Yeah.
She led the acquisition of SKR Productions and the home organization / lifestyle brand, The Home Edit, as well as 2021 sale of Hello Sunshine to Candle Media. So she is a big player in this game we call the entertainment industry. So that's a good pickup.
Oh, hell yeah, it's a good pickup. And I think that they're going to do really well with her in that position. And just to put a cap on that with Candle Media, I recently read, because remember how Bob Iger, we told you a couple weeks ago on the show that he had brought back Kevin Mayer and Skaggs, right? Well, they're the ones who own. They created Candle Media, right? There's rumors that he might buy Candle Media and bring it into Disney to get them back. Interesting, right? Can you even imagine? Because Hello Sunshine is like kicking ass. So if he acquires Candle Media and like, oh my gosh, right? Woo! We'll have to keep an eye on that one, guys. Just throwing that out there because that's an interesting little story if that develops. Can I just go on record and say that I'm beyond thrilled with this next story? Not at all surprised, because I'm also happy to say I'm OG, okay? I'm original gangster suits. I was watching that shit before anybody had even heard of it. Like, what? What channel is it on? USA, what? Yeah, I'm from day one Suits, my man. According to Nielsen's latest streaming numbers, Suits, which was produced by and is owned by Universal, has been watched, are you ready for this? 26.5 billion minutes total across Netflix and Peacock during the last 8 weeks, with the August 7th through 13th viewing window marking its 7th week in a row, crossing the 3 billion minute mark. Suits is the first title ever to stay above 3 billion minutes for that long. So I'm not surprised. This show, and I love that it's on 2 now. Of course, all of the seasons are on Peacock. Not all of the seasons are on Netflix. But people are finding it on both, and it is freaking slaying. I mean, like, I'm rewatching Pearson, the spinoff from it, where Jessica ended up. And it's really good. It only got 1 season, which I was pissed about. So I'm hoping this resurgence gets it another chance, too, because, man, and I hope all the rumors, and I don't know about you, but I hope that all the rumors that because of this, when all the strike shit is over, they're looking at bringing it back, a revival of it for new seasons. How freaking awesome would that be?
Yeah, that would be pretty badass. I can't wait. But I know it's being watched by so many different people of all walks of life that I never would have even imagined would be watching this show. But it's so freaking awesome to see. Well, Quantum Leap will be coming back for season 2 at NBC with 2 new series regulars. Peter Godot and Ezra Eliza Taylor. One of the few scripted projects returning to broadcast television this fall amid the Hollywood strikes. Quantum Leap is the sequel to the 1989 to 1993 NBC drama of the same name and set 30 years later after Dr. Sam Beckett stepped into the Quantum Leap accelerator and then vanished. In the new series, Raymond Lee stars as Ben Song, who makes an unauthorized leap into the past, leaving his team behind to solve a mystery of why he did it. Taylor will play Hannah Carson, who is described as a complex young woman who may be more than she appears, and will be introduced in episode 3. Godot will play Tom Westfall, a U.S. Army officer, former Special Forces, who now high up in Army intelligence. He is described as thoughtful, centered, and spiritually kind of a warrior who both men and women admire and whose humility keeps him from ever being arrogant, and will take on a crucial role overseeing the Quantum Leap project. And season 2 premiere, which airs October 4th, it will feature guest stars Melissa Roxborough from Manifest, Francisco Anrad from Plan B and Blind Spot, Aaron Abrams from Hannibal and Blind Spot, and PJ Byron from The Boys and Shazam Fury of the Gods. So that's all very exciting.
Yeah. I was a huge fan of the original show. I haven't watched a single episode of the reboot here, so I can't tell you whether I would be good with it or not. But it sounds interesting, though. So, who knows? Jumping on over to Sony, we told you that we think The Nun is going to take out our boy with the Equalizer 3, but this past weekend he was at the top of the box office. Sony's The Equalizer 3 scored the second largest Labor Day opening weekend ever with $42.3 million. Now, while the holiday isn't traditionally a box office draw, Denzel Washington's assassin thriller surpassed the previous Labor Day debut runner-up, Rob Zombie's 2007 Halloween remake, which grossed $30 million through Monday. Now, Marvel's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings still holds the Labor Day crown with $94.6 million over the 4-day opening weekend in 2021. Nevertheless, Equalizer 3's 3-day domestic figure of $34.6 million is nearly the same as its predecessors. The 2015 original grossed $34 million in the traditional 3-day frame, while the 2018 sequel scored $36 million. With a $70 million production budget co-financed by TSG and Eagle Pictures, Columbia Pictures' Equalizer 3 is targeting a similar performance by the end of its run. The third installment earned an A grade on CinemaScore and holds a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I'm a huge fan of the first 2 movies, so I'm excited to see this one. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm all in. I mean, I like the character. I like what they did with it. So I won't admit that I'm old enough to remember the TV show that it's all based on. Some old crotchety white English guy. But I am.
Yeah, it looks really good. I've only seen the second one. So yeah, I need to go back and watch the first one and then watch this third one. Yes. I mean, anything with Denzel though, come on. I mean,
sure.
It's so freaking good. Well, Sony Pictures has set up 3 steps or has set up 3 step September release for Dumb Money, the GameStop comedy drama and TIFF world premiere in order to expand early as possible before November 13th of release of Taylor Swift's The Eras World Tour. Now, Craig Gillespie's comedy drama starring Paul Dano, Shailene Woodley, and Seth Rogen will release on September 15th exclusively in Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., Boston, and San Francisco, all the big markets. Mm-hmm. It was previously scheduled to open exclusively in Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, and DC. And a week later, on September 22nd, the film will go into a moderate release pattern prior to expanding wide on September 29th. The studio previously scheduled a platform release expanding to limited and then moderate. Dumb Money charts the new story of how everyday people turned the tables on Wall Street and got rich by turning GameStop into the world's hottest company. Everybody remembers that from a couple years ago. In the middle of it all, everyman Keith Gill, who's played by Dano, who invests his life savings into the stock and posts about it, turning a stock tip into a movement where everyone gets rich until the billionaires fight back. The cast includes Pete Davidson, America Ferrera, Vincent D'Onofrio, Nick Offerman, Anthony Ramos, and Sebastian Stan. The TIFF world premiere is scheduled for September 8th. I'm super excited about this one because, once again, Paul Dano, another chameleon of the entertainment industry,
for sure.
Completely opposite of what he did as the Riddler in the Batman, and completely opposite what he did as the dad in the Fablemans. Like, this guy is just so freaking amazing. But I mean, this thing really did take the world by storm for like a couple weeks, a couple years ago. So I'm super excited to see that one finally come out.
Yeah, me too. And I mean, Jesus, like, how many Marvel people did you list? Vincent D'Onofrio, Anthony Ramos, Sebastian Stan. Like, I mean, it's loaded with Marvel people too. So that's going to be awesome. Speaking of, this sounds very interesting. Director Eli Roth is bringing blood, terror, and turkey in the first teaser for Thanksgiving, a slasher starring Patrick Dempsey and TikTok star Addison Rae. The movie comes to theaters in time for the holiday season on November 17th. Now, here's the log line. After a Black Friday riot ends in tragedy, a mysterious Thanksgiving-inspired killer terrorizes Plymouth, Massachusetts, the birthplace of the infamous holiday. Now, in the trailer, a pilgrim-themed killer hunts down his victims in bloody fashion, including one particularly spine-chilling kill in a walk-in freezer. Now, Thanksgiving is the full vision of a fake trailer showcased in Roth and Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez's 2007 horror film Grindhouse. Now, in the original trailer, Roth stars while a mysterious slasher invades a small town in Massachusetts amid the holiday. Now, Milo Manheim, Nell Vaquero, Jolene Thomas Brooks, Rick Hoffman, Louis Litt, Gina Gershon, Chris Sarandon, Tim Dillon, and Tassamo Sonali round out the cast of the slasher. I love that they're doing this. They're taking the fake trailers that were shown in those movies and turning them into real movies. That's awesome. Like, that's so awesome.
It really is. But I will say, if they kill Patrick Dempsey, I will walk out of that fucking theater. I swear to God, it will not be a good thing. I will write a horrible review on Letterboxd. Don't fucking tempt me, I swear.
Will his hair stay intact? That's the thing.
They better not fuck with it. I swear to God. Heading over to Lionsgate. This next one, I have mixed feelings about. I really wish they would have just left this whole property alone, just out of respect. But anyway, Lionsgate has just tied up an 8-figure deal for domestic rights to The Crow reboot. Now, Bill Skarsgård, FKA Twigs, and Danny Hudson lead Rupert Sanders' reimagining of the 1994 cult classic that memorably starred Brandon Lee in his final role.
Yeah.
In the original revenge thriller, a man who is brutally murdered comes back to life and as an undead avenger of his and his fiance's deaths. Both movies are based off the graphic novel of the Gothic character created, written, and illustrated by James O'Hare. The script for the reboot comes from Oscar nominee Zach Balin from King Richard, if you didn't know, and Will Schneider. The movie is expected to release next year, maybe. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just felt like you should have just left it alone. Out of respect, because this is the film that he died on, and I just feel like it's a icky, sticky, awkward situation.
I agree. And it's got such a cult status because he died on it and because it's still been lingering around. I feel like if you do this reimagining and you put a new one out there, you take away all of that lore and all of that cult status from the original. You just kind of lose it all. And so I don't really want to see that happen. I just, I'm a fan of the original film, and it was, I don't want to see that happen. Jumping over to Amazon/MGM, Jamie Foxx is suiting up for the latest trailer of Prime Video's The Burial, the courtroom dramedy, which also stars Tommy Lee Jones. Well, he's making quite the resurgence, isn't he? Right? Journey Smollett and Alan Ruck is set to premiere on September 11th. That's a bad premiere date. At the Toronto International Film Festival. Now, The Burial is adapted from Jonathan Harr's 1999 New Yorker article of the same name and tells the story of a personal injury lawyer, Willie E. Gary, played by Fox, and his mission to help funeral home owner Jeremiah Joseph O'Keefe, played by Jones, in a contract dispute against Lowen Funeral Company. With Gary's help, O'Keefe sets out to sue Raymond Lowen's company, and audiences dive into the depths of deceit and the funeral industry while getting a glimpse at Gary's ambitious, unconventional background. The Burial premieres in select theaters on October 6th before hitting Prime Video on October 13th. The trailer looks really good. I mean, the dynamic between Tommy Lee Jones and Jamie Foxx is good. So I was at least interested in seeing it after I watched the trailer. So we'll see, Yeah,
I mean, that's an interesting concept.
It is.
I mean, that's a very story-driven film, I feel like. So it'll be interesting to see how many people are actually going to watch it, because we know how that goes nowadays. So
unless you're Oppenheimer.
I'm excited. Yeah, unless you're Oppenheimer. But I am excited to see it, too. It sounds really good.
For sure.
Prime Video has announced that Christmas movie Candy Cane Lane, starring Eddie Murphy and Tracy Ellis Ross, will be released exclusively on the streaming platform on December 1st.
Yes.
Now, this one is directed by Reginald Hudlin. Now, Candy Cane Lane follows Murphy as Chris, a man who is determined to win his neighborhood's annual Christmas home decoration contest. After unintentionally striking a deal with an elf played by Jillian Bell to improve his odds of winning, she casts a spell bringing to life the 12 days of Christmas, and chaos ensues for the whole entire town.
Oh my goodness.
Now, Chris must then work to save Christmas for his family and community. An endeavor that entails battling magical creatures. The screenplay is written by Kelly Younger and inspired by his childhood experiences on Candy Cane Lane in El Sangdao. Now, Ross stars as Chris's wife, Carol. The movie also stars Thaddeus J. Mixon, Ken Morano, Nick Offerman, who is also doing a lot of things.
Right?
Robin Thede, Chris Reed, Jinya Walton, Madison Thomas, DC Young Fly, Angela Johnson Reyes, and Nancy Linehan. Now, Candy Cane Lane marks Murphy's first holiday film ever.
Right.
He recently starred in comedy films Coming to America, a follow-up to his beloved comedy classic Coming to America, and the Netflix original You People, opposite of Jonah Hill, Lauren London, and Julia Louise Dreyfus. So yeah, I'm just excited to see him back on screen, to be honest with you. I feel like he'll do a good Christmas movie. So,
oh yeah,
there we go.
for sure. That's going to be hilarious. I mean, I'm good. I'm like you. I'm glad to see him making a resurgence and getting back out there. And yeah, it's. I think it's going to be really good. Have you watched You People yet?
I haven't.
I have not either. I think now that we've been talking about it, I think I might want to jump on that and give it a watch. Okay. Are all of you guys like us, like when you were watching The Boys, how many like jaw-dropping moments did you have, right? Like, I can't believe I just saw that. What the fuck did they just show on TV? What am I watching? Well, if you thought The Boys had it, holy shit. Prime Video dropped the first official trailer for Gen V, the spin-off series of its popular dark superhero show, The Boys. Star Chance Perdoma has previously said that the show is going to be fucked up. And he's not even lying, y'all. Fans can see just how fucked up the College Focus series is really going to be from the trailer. From crawling inside a human head to murderous puppets. Gen V seems to assure fans of The Boys that there's no shortage of superhero debauchery. Gen V is set at Goodokun University, America's only college exclusively for superheroes, run, of course, by Voight International. Now, according to the show's official logline, the irreverent R-rated series is set to explore the lives of hormonal competitive supes as they put their physical, sexual, and moral boundaries to the test, competing for the best contracts in the best cities. It's part college show, part Hunger Games, with all the heart, satire, and raunch of The Boys. Now, Gen V marks the third series set in the universe of The Boys, alongside the original series, which is currently in production on its fourth season, halted though, and an animated spin-off titled The Boys Presents Diabolical. Gen V will drop its first 3 episodes September 29th on Prime Video. And yeah, the trailer was like, what the fuck? It's going to be an interesting show. That's all I can say. It's going to be in-your-face crazy. I mean,
it is very interesting. I mean, to even see this thing like The Boys and now this one happen is a testament to the time we're in. That's for sure. Because that shit would not fly like 10 years ago.
Yeah, no way.
So it's very interesting. Well, heading over to the streaming giant and talking about the streaming giant's crown jewel, we could say. Netflix, they have teased the storyline for the 6th and final season of their hit drama series, The Crown. The show, which is first launched back in 2016, follows the trials and tribulations of the British royal family, beginning with the death of King George and the succession of his daughter, Queen Elizabeth, to the throne. The final season is set to air later this year and is believed to cover the death of Princess Diana, and Netflix has revealed will also feature a royal wedding. It won't be Prince William's or Prince Harry's royal wedding, though, and those will not be covered in the series. However, according to the snap tweeted by Netflix's Twitter account earlier today, Friday, viewers will get to see Prince Charles's wedding to Camilla Parker Bowles, which took place in 2005 at St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle. According to Claudia Harrison, who plays Princess Anne in Season 5 and Season 6 of The Crown, the wedding was the final scene the cast shot. It was filmed in York Minster Cathedral in England with the entire family in attendance, including Emilia Stratton, who plays the Queen in the final 2 seasons of the show. Jonathan Pryce as her husband, Prince Philip, plus Ed McVeigh as Prince William and Luther Ford as Prince Harry. So that's going to be very interesting. This show has been very consistent, I will say that, over its whole tenure on Netflix. So it'll be interesting to see what Netflix pushes up after this one is pushed out. So we'll see.
Yeah, and it's interesting that they chose to go with that marriage and show it, because they just recently, at least in Harry's book, I don't know if you guys have finished reading it or whatever, but he was pretty adamant. There's a whole little section in there about how him and William begged Charles not to marry Camilla. Like literally were pleading with him not to marry her. And
damn,
Chuck did it anyway. So, oh, KC the third, right? KC3. He's going to do what he's going to do, man.
That guy.
I don't know. But yeah, you're right. Although I will say Colleen Foy still my favorite, right? Like by far, she's like from the very get-go, like my favorite. The first 2 seasons were the best.
Agreed.
Let's see. Emily Blunt. Oh, yeah. Emily Blunt. Have you watched this one trailer yet? It's fantastic. She is at the center of a criminal conspiracy in the first official trailer for Netflix's Pain Hustlers, which is set to debut on the streaming service October 27th after premiering at the Toronto International Film Festival. Now, as a mother struggling to support her daughter, Liza Drake seeks out a new stream of income in hopes of turning her life around. All seems to be working out well for Liza when she lands a job at a pharmaceutical startup. However, she has no idea that the company is actually failing fully fledged illegal business, and she swiftly finds herself stuck in the middle of a racketeering scheme. The first trailer gives audiences a glimpse at the drama, which has been speculated to be in the vein of the critically acclaimed movies like American Hustle and The Big Short. Now, having been introduced to Blunt's Liza, viewers also get a sneak peek at the seemingly lucrative life she's able to live for a short period of time before the reality and the legalities of her situation truly set in. Blunt stars in Pain Hustlers alongside the one and only Chris Evans, Andy Garcia, Catherine O'Hara, Jay Duplass, Brian Darcy, James, and Chloe Coleman. So, the trailer looks really interesting. I think that Blunt and Chris Evans are going to be great together. I mean, he's killing it too, man. He's everywhere as well.
He is, man. It's rocking and rolling. And Colleen Foy is our friend that
yes. Claire Foy. Easily mistakable. Like,
it's fine. You know how people are. I didn't want people to come after us.
Oh my goodness, no. Both phenomenal actresses, both amazing people, I'm sure.
Exactly. Check out their catalog. Netflix has released the first trailer of the sequel of the 2000 stop motion animated comedy Chicken Run. The upcoming feature titled Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget. It is set to premiere in December, featuring an all-new voice cast. Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget follows Ginger as she sets up a peaceful sanctuary far from the human world, having recently escaped from the evil Tweety Farm. Finally, with the hatching of Molly, who's going to be played by Bella Ramsey from The Last of Us, Ginger and Rocky, who's played by Zachary Levi, seem to have their happily ever after. But unknown to them, outside their peaceful world, Chicken Kind faces a new terrible threat. Newton takes over the role of Ginger from the absolutely fabulous actor Julia Swahala, while Levi steps in for Mel Gibson, who voiced Rocky in the first movie. The voice actor who will return is Miranda Richardson from Good Omens, who is back as the arch villain Mrs. Tweety. Now, she will be joined by comedian Peter Seferihinashvili.
Yes, there you go. Sure.
Making his Chicken Run debut as hapless businessman Reginald Smith. The new trailer gives fans the first look at the challenges that Ginger and Rocky will face as they battle to take down Mrs. Tweety's evil operation. The original Chicken Run was conceived by Wallace and Gromit, creator of Nick Park and Armand Animation's co-founder Peter Lord. Armand Animation's first feature Chicken Run grossed over $225 million at the box office, becoming the highest grossing stop motion animated film of all time. Now, Chicken Run 2, which will premiere on December 15th, resumes the original story over 20 years later. And I'm not sure anybody will have any problem with the new actors voicing these people, just because I feel like, it's been 20 years, 23 years. So I feel like, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And my only question is, did we need this? Did we need a Chicken Run sequel? I mean, I wasn't aware that it was in such demand, but apparently here we go.
Yeah.
Right? Jumping over to Apple. I'm super excited about this one. Apple TV Plus has released the first teaser trailer for its highly anticipated Godzilla TV series, Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. The project stars the father-son duo of Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell, who play the same character at different ages, along with Anna Sawai, Marie Yamato, Anders Holm, Kiersey Clemens, Ren Watabe, Joe Tippett, and Eliza Lewowski. The trailer also features John Goodman making a cameo appearance reprising his role from Kong Skull Island. Now, the official description reads, following the thunderous battle between Godzilla and the Titans that leveled San Francisco and the shocking revelation that monsters are real, Monarch: Legacy of Monsters tracks two siblings following in their father's footsteps to uncover their family's connection to the secretive organization known as Monarch. Clues lead them into the world of monsters and ultimately down the rabbit hole to Army Officer Lee Shaw, played by the Russells, taking place in the 1950s and half a century later, where Monarch is threatened by what Shaw knows. Now, the dramatic saga spanning 3 generations reveals buried secrets and the ways that epic, earth-shattering events can reverberate through our lives. The 10-episode series premieres globally on Friday, November 17th, with 2 episodes, then followed by 1 episode every Friday through January 12th. So, yeah, I'm super excited about this one. I think it's gonna... I liked Kong Skull Island. I liked Godzilla vs. Kong. Like, those are the Monarch movies, guys, that's continuing in that universe. So, yeah, I'm kind of pumped about it. I really am.
Yeah, it is really cool to see how they've come back into pop culture, right?
Yeah.
I mean, over the past couple of years, like, ever since Godzilla, I mean, that was probably around 10 years ago. And then most recently, Kong versus Godzilla. I feel like we had that little gap there for a while where nobody was really developing anything on that. So I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see what happens. And that's really good casting because he looks exactly like his daddy. So it's going to be freaking great. I'm super excited about that.
For sure.
Well, Cindy Crawford, Naomi Campbell, Linda Evangelista, and Christy Turlington get candid about their high-profile careers in the first trailer for Apple TV Plus's The Supermodels.
Yes.
The 4-part docuseries launches September 20th on the streaming platform, and it focuses on the lives of the 4 models who helped define beauty and power after rising to prominence in the 1980s, all while forging a close bond. The project promises unprecedented access to the stars as they open up about their path and they discuss key moments of their modeling journeys. The supermodels also boost a long list of notable names and fashion industry professionals to weigh in on the 4 women. Now, Marc Jacobs, Donna Karan, Calvin Klein, Michael Kors, David Fincher, Dantella Versace, Isaac Mirazi, Anna Sue Grace Coddington, and Vivienne Westwood are among those offering commentary. The trailer includes a focus on the making of memorable music videos for George Michael's Freedom 90, which was directed by Fincher and featured all 4 of the models. Now, the Supermodels hails from the Imagine documentaries and One Story Up. Executive producers include Campbell, Crawford, Evangelista, Turlington, Sarah Bernstein, Brian Grazer, Ron Howard, Barbara Kalupi, Golf Martz, Justin Wilkes, and Roger Ross Williams. Talk about a freaking team, man. That is absolutely crazy. But I mean, I know how big supermodels were back in the 80s, so it only makes sense that we're finally getting a documentary series about it.
I cannot even begin to tell you how excited I am about this documentary series. I did. I had all of them women plastered on my walls, their posters. They were all hot as fuck in the 80s. Like, I mean, there was like, yeah. If you didn't have Cindy Crawford hanging on your wall in the 80s, what was wrong with you, right? And Christy Turlington's actually my favorite. I thought Christy Turlington was just phenomenally beautiful and like just amazing. But yeah, I'm so obviously, I mean, 80s me and supermodels, and I'm all in on this documentary. As soon as it's available, click, let's watch. It's going to be amazing.
That's so freaking funny. That's so freaking funny. I love it though. I think it's going to be really good. I think all the streaming services are still doing pretty well right now in the midst of the strikes. I mean, Netflix, that live action anime project One Piece is like doing really well. So that's awesome to see. I watched the first episode and it was okay, but I'm going to continue watching it to see if it gets better. And I mean, Apple TV Plus with Hijack, Idris Elba's Hijack.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Phenomenal. And I just feel like, HBO or Max, they always put out good content. Stars with Heels right now and Outlander. I just, they're doing better than expected. Disney Plus with Ahsoka. So it sucks that these people are not able to promote their projects. That's really freaking big. But I mean, social media is still loving everything that's coming out right now, so that's really good to see.
Yeah, and a lot of these streamers are putting a lot of hidden gems that were missed. Like the other night on Stars, I watched a Jordan for Journal, a Journal for Jordan. Let me get that right. Which we talked about heavily on this show. We promoted it because it was set all to come out and everything, and then COVID hit and it just kind of disappeared. It was like very quietly, like nobody ever even remembered it. And I watched it the other night and I was in tears. Denzel Washington directed the shit out of that movie, and Michael B. Jordan as Michael B. I mean, he's never bad, right? But it was a really touching story about this true story about this dad in the military who left this journal for his son. And that's what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be like this narrated thing that the mom was reading to the son the whole time. But it's actually reversed. You actually don't get much narration at all. You see them and how they met and how they got together and how they had the son, and you see him go off to war, and you see like all these kind of things. And she is writing an article because she's a reporter, and she writes an article about the journal for her son, kind of a thing. And so that's the premise of it. But yeah, it's a tearjerker for sure. And Denzel did a phenomenal job directing it. And Michael B. Jordan was just stellar. And the woman that plays the main role, she was a newcomer. I hate that I can't remember her name, but she was a newcomer. And introducing. And she was amazing. I mean, if you can hold your own in a scene against Michael B. Jordan, you're a good actor, right? So but yeah, I agree with you, man. I think they're like these streamers. If you look, you will find some really good shit to watch. That's just facts. If you do some digging, you're gonna find some stuff to watch.
Yeah, completely agree. Well, something that just broke on Variety. This is very interesting and has to deal with our top story today with Danny Masterson. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis wrote letters in support of Danny Masterson to the judge, apparently calling him a role model, trying to, come to his support. And basically Kutcher's letter says, I do not believe he is a harm to society, an ongoing harm to society, and having a daughter raised without a present father would be a territorial or a terrible injustice in itself. Thank you for taking the time to read this. I'm a little disappointed in that, to be honest. I get it that, it would be hard for me that one of my best friends or you or somebody was accused of rape and went on trial, but they proved it. I just feel like you shouldn't have came out and said something like that.
Well, and Kutcher acknowledged it because he said he's not an ongoing threat to society, meaning he's acknowledging that he was a threat to society, right? So like even Kutcher is saying, I know he did this shit, but can you please have, and look, I'm all for rehabilitation. I'm all for second chances. I'm all for this, but he is still claiming his innocence. He is still trying to deny that he did anything wrong. I can't get behind that. This man should be rotting in prison for the rest of his life because he doesn't even acknowledge that he did anything wrong. Like, bro, when you are drugging women and having sex with them without their consent, there's no way to spin that you didn't do anything wrong. And my argument to Ashton Kutcher would be. And please, Ashton, come on, let's talk about this, because I really feel like a daughter being raised without the presence of her father is a terrible misjustice. I wholeheartedly would agree with that unless your father is a rapist. Unless your father is not the role model that should be guiding you on how a man should treat you as a woman. Is that the role model, the father figure that's going to be a terrible misjustice if he's not around the daughter? Like, I want my daughter to know how a man should be treating her. And it's not fucking drugging her and then raping her. That's not how... So that would be my argument back to Ashton. It's like, I get that homes without their dads often lead to trouble and troubled children, and they end up being troubled adults. But in this case, I think she's better off without his presence there. Right?
Yeah.
Go visit him in prison. Have your dad time. But you do not need this man telling you how to be a woman and how to be an adult. And because it just, I'm sorry, but maybe he has rehabbed. Maybe he's a stellar dad. I do not know. I don't know what's going on in that world. Maybe he's a stellar husband, because that marriage, I guess, has been going on for a while now, and she seems very much in love with him. Maybe all that's true. But you're still a rapist who will not acknowledge that you did anything wrong. Like, he's another fucking Bill Cosby. You
exactly.
can't. I don't know, man. I'm glad you caught that. I'm glad you added it to the news. But I'm with you. I'm kind of disappointed that they would come out with a statement like that and just support your friend. Be there. Yeah. Go visit him in prison. Say, man, I wish things had been different. I wish we could have helped you earlier. I wish we could have seen the warning signs and stopped you from this type behavior, right? You're a friend. You're that close. You're that tight that you're writing letters to the judge on his behalf. Where were you when he needed you? Where were you to say, bro, this isn't okay. This isn't the type shit you should be doing. And then maybe he wouldn't be in prison and you wouldn't have to write letters in support, right? That's all I'm saying. Somebody should have stopped it before it happened. Nobody gave a shit then. So I'm just saying, you know, how many people just sweeped it under? I mean.
Exactly. It's wild, ongoing. Now, well, kind of. Not anymore. Wow. Anyway, guys, now we're going over to our top 5 segment. And this week it is top 5 character actors that should be lead actors. This one was very fun because there is a lot of people who don't necessarily get the credit they deserve when they play pivotal roles or they bring a certain presence either on set or on screen that it completely changes the dynamic and content that we watch every single day. So this was a fun one.
Yeah. Oh, without doubt. And I mean, everybody on my list, I fucking love. I just think they're amazing and they're so fun to watch in literally everything. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm just like, this was a really fun list.
Oh yeah. Well, starting at my number 5 goes to Keith David. Everybody's like, Keith David, why does that name sound so familiar? Trust me, once you see this guy's picture, you'll know exactly who the fuck I'm talking about. He was in Princess and the Frog, Armageddon, The Thing, They Live. I think I really enjoy all of his performances, and he's got one of those voices too. I love that he does animation because what he does and like that gravelly kind of like voice that he has, it brings an extra dynamic to like the villainous characters that he plays in animation. But I feel like what specifically he did in a game that I used to play, Saints Row, he was like the mentor figure that turned out to be the bad guy. So that was definitely one of my all-time favorite roles that he did and that he portrayed. But I feel like he would definitely hold his own in his own film. If you got him and Tyler Perry in a room, I feel like they could create something absolutely magical. So Tyler, if you're listening, cast Keith David as somebody in a lead role, and this man will just blow it out of the park. I know he would. But yes, Keith David at number 5.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And one of my favorite things, I'm so glad you brought up the animation aspect of it, because a lot of people don't know, they had a really kick-ass, dark and gritty Spawn animated cartoon, and he was the voice of Spawn, and it was so just like that, like you said, that dark, gritty, scary as fuck voice, like of what you would expect Spawn to sound like. It was so good, man. It was so good. My number 5, everybody knows him and loves him, Benedict Wong. Of course, Wong from Doctor Strange and the Avengers and the Marvel Universe and everything. But this guy has actually done like a ton of stuff, and he kind of steals the show in like everything he's been in. Like how many people know that he was in Cloak vs. Tuna Mel? How many people know that he was in The Martian with Matt Damon? Like just so many of these roles that he did. Lady and the Tramp, and like aside from all the Marvel stuff, he's that guy again that when you see him, you can't help but gravitate to him when he's in the scene. Right? You're just waiting to see what he's going to do, because he feels like he's that guy that's going to steal the show, right? He's going to do something that's going to make you remember him in the scene. And I think anybody that can captivate your attention or draw you away from the main in the scene deserves to be a lead. And Benedict, for sure, especially, like, give this man a comedy, he would freaking slay it. Because even in all this serious shit that he's been in, he's hilarious as shit, even when he's trying to be serious. And I think sometimes that's the best comedy. So I swear to God, if somebody would give Benedict Wong his own comedic series, like his own sitcom, I think it would be huge. He would kill it. He would kill it. It'd be amazing.
Completely agree. He's a great, phenomenal actor that deserves more. More things need to come his way. Number 4 for me goes to Gary Cole. And I mean, what's this guy not been in? Okay. I mean, Talladega Nights. He was in Suits. He was the vice president on West Wing. Oh, yeah. So many freaking things. This guy just, him and the, that guy from that Milo show that we were just watching where they were like crooks. I always get those two mixed up. Yeah. They kind of look alike and they do the same thing. But Gary Cole specifically, I think he is so versatile and can play literally anything you throw his way. Oh, for sure. I loved him in Pineapple Express when he was the bad guy drug dealer. Yes. He was like in Psych, Forever Strong. Like, so many things to reference when it comes to his catalog and his resume. Yes. So I just had to put that man on the list. So freaking good. He is one of those guys who, like I said, you could throw anything at him. It doesn't matter the genre, the setting, the time period. He is going to knock it out of the park and do so in brilliant fashion. Oh, without doubt. And Gary Cole, man, number 4.
Yeah, and I agree with you, and he's a great character actor, right? Yeah. He's different in everything, and yet has his identity, right? Like you just immediately like, oh, that's Gary Cole. That's a perfect Gary Cole role right there, even though it's a character role, right? Okay, so my number 4 and my number 3 are both people that I first initially caught on with Justified. Back in the day, they were both on Justified, and they're both fucking phenomenal. My number 4, Margot Martindale. Dude, she has been in fucking everything. You know her. You know exactly who I'm talking about. If you saw Cocaine Bear, she's the park ranger, right? If you saw Justified, she's the drug dealer mama. If you saw The Americans, she was one of the Russian spies. Justified, just... her dynamic with Caitlin Dever in Justified, I can't even begin to tell you how awesome. But she's another one of those people. It's just like everything that she's in, she just kills it. Whether she's playing like a serious badass Russian assassin or she's playing some horny, person in Cocaine Bear, some horny park ranger, just trying to get laid. She's fucking hysterical and yet also powerful in these like dramas and like And I don't think she gets nearly the if you go back, she's like our buddy Spencer Garrett. You can pretty much find Margot in any fucking thing that you've watched. She's probably been in an episode of it or been in the movie. She's that woman, right? And I will say this, she owns her shit, right? She's like, this is who I am. I'm not fucking changing my look. I'm not losing weight. I'm not going to be a nice person. I'm not going to be try this, that kind of a... She picked a genre that she plays and plays well, and she is killing it. And I think she would do amazing in either her own film or her own television show, because I think she's earned a chance at the fucking lead, because she is just stellar. Like, I mean, she's like... Had Roseanne not been Roseanne, Margot Martindale would have been this generation's Roseanne. She's that kind of like the housewife mom that don't take no shit. And she's going to lay it down for you no matter what. That's Margot Martindale. That's how I see her, kind of her character. I think she would just kill in a sitcom like that, man. She would be just amazing.
Oh, yeah, man. For freaking sure. My number 3 goes to Randall Park. Now, maybe some of you are saying, well, he's kind of a lead. Well, in recent years, he's kind of fallen back a little bit, because he did have Fresh Off the Boat, which was very successful, 116 episodes worth of pure comedy. And I mean, he has been the lead in a few things, like Always Be My Maybe with Ali Wong on Netflix. But recently, he's been taking that secondary role, whether it be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, whether it be Young Rock, where he plays himself, a reporter. But he is such a phenomenal talent that I feel like doesn't necessarily get the recognition that he deserves, because what he brings to each of his roles is some sort of different comedy, complex dynamic that not a lot of people can do, because he has this lightness and this sensibility about him that I feel like not a lot of people have. But then he can get into the dark, he can get into the gritty, and he just seems like an overall genuine human being, and he definitely deserves more opportunities that come his way. So that's why I just had to put him on my list, man. He's definitely one of my favorite underrated actors right now. So Randall Park at number 3.
I love that, and I totally agree with that. I think everything you just said is spot on about that. Yeah, and underrated. That I like that, because I feel like a lot of these, we had that category, right? Underrated, but I feel like a lot of these character actors are underrated in their performances, which is why they're not getting these lead roles, right? Which is just absurd to me. It's absolutely insane to me why it's not happening. My next guy, just like that. Walton Goggins. And it's like, why does that name? But like you said, if you see his face, you would know exactly who I'm talking about. This guy has been on Big Bang Theory. He's been in Lincoln. He's been in Maze Runner. But for me, and Ant-Man and the Wasp. He's a bad guy in Ant-Man and the Wasp. But for me, it was Justified. Boyd Crowder, the racist, redneck motherfucking drug dealer from Kentucky that gave the shit. He played that character so fucking good and was so fucking evil. He plays a great bad guy, right? But he's just amazing. That character, I was locked in. So now anytime I see anything that Walt is in, I want to watch it, because I became such a fan of his through Justified. So I was watching Justified City Primeval, right? And it's not even about him. I mean, if you're a fan of Justified, you know that Boyd went away to prison. It was done. Lock, key, done. You're over with. Well, guess what, guys and gals? Spoiler alert! They somehow were able to film a cameo with him last second. It wasn't planned. It wasn't even supposed to be part of the series, but they filmed a cameo with him. Boyd is out of prison, y'all. He fucking broke out of prison, and fucking Raylan got the notification. Like, Raylan was going to retire, y'all. Spend time with his daughter, finally, and just like, I'm done. I've had it. What? Boyd fucking out of prison. Oh, shit. I mean, so, and the way he breaks out, just that fucking scene alone, that little tiny scene at the end, screams, give this man his own show. It was so fucking good. Yeah, Walt is... I think anything that you give him a lead in, I mean, he's a phenomenal actor, so I'm sure he could pull off a comedy or any kind of a drama or anything like that. But this guy screams bad guy. He is like straight up fucking evil. So if you're going to give him a lead, make him the lead in something like seriously badass. Make him a badass bad guy. Because he's oh my God, he would slay. He's so fucking good. He is so good. I got to get you on Justified, man. You should watch all of Justified and then watch Justified City Primeval. Because you would be hooked. I'm telling you. Fuck, it's oh my gosh. Yeah. And the people that came in and out of those shows, like Caitlin Deaver and like all these people... Caitlin was balancing Last Man Standing with Justified at the same time. Like, and Margot was doing Justified and The Americans at the same time. Go bounce back. It's just, I'm telling you, man, it's fucking awesome. It's just, but Walton Goggins, man, give that man a show and make him a bad guy because I'm scared of him. I'm scared if you don't give him a show, he's going to come at you. Just saying.
Just saying. Now, this next one I will probably have to argue with about a little bit because, I mean, she does definitely have some iconic leading lady roles, but she does also have some just, I feel like her secondary roles far outplay her leading lady roles, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, when I first saw her on your list, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
She adds so much to her secondary roles. And I'm talking about Allison Janney. Of so many freaking things, guys.
Yes.
Come on. The Help, Juno, I, Tonya, West Wing, so many things. She is the definition of a character actor. She can literally blow anything out of the water. I don't know. I feel like where she shines brightest is that secondary role. And of course, Mom as well. I forgot about Mom.
For sure.
But I don't know, that the dynamic, she is so good about lifting other people up and giving other people that space to be creative and to be experimental with their roles. So I just feel like she is such a great character actor, and that's why I had to put her on my list. And that was my thought process a little bit. And yes, she is one of the all-time best. Let's be honest about it. But yeah, I just, I feel like I would be remiss without mentioning her. So Allison Janney at number 2.
Yeah, no, freaking, I get it. I get the argument. I get why you chose her. I think because for so long, I mean, let's be honest about it. I think one of probably her single greatest role ever, like obviously, on The West Wing, right, as CJ. But understand, she was not the star of that show. She wasn't even close to being the star of that show. You had like Rob Lowe and Martin Sheen and like all these people that were John Spencer that were so far well established in their careers before Allison Janney was like a name, right? So it's a great observation. Like you said, she was really good at settling in and like being that character actor and allowing other actors to shine, even though her performance was shining just as brightly. Like, great fucking pick. That was a good pick. My number 2, Amy Garcia. Now, Amy Garcia has been in a ton of stuff, you guys, going like all the way back to like I can't even remember. I'm looking at her list on IMDb, and she's in things that I don't even remember her being in, like Family Guy and Rush Hour and RoboCop and Dexter and like all this kind of stuff. I do remember her in Dexter, but where I first saw her, and then I was like, holy shit, is that her on Lucifer? But the very first time I ever saw Amy Garcia was in an episode of Supernatural. Do you remember the episode where they were trapped in the prison and the people were trying to break into the prison? She was the sheriff's deputy that was the virgin. Remember, they were talking about how she had the little cross and like all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And that was her. And how you kind of at the end, they imply she ain't no virgin anymore kind of a thing or whatever. But that was the very first time I had ever seen Amy Garcia. And I just thought she slayed that particular role. She played it so well, and she played off of Jensen really well. Because he was giving her shit for being a virgin, kept questioning whether she was really a virgin and, kind of a thing. And she just played off as so well. And then, lo and behold, I'm that late guy jumping on Lucifer, right? And I hadn't, oh my gosh, what's everybody talking about? Let me check it out on Netflix. And there she is. Fucking, she comes in like the second season, I think, third season. And she just, oh my God, she was like so fucking epic on Lucifer. Her character literally stole every single scene she's in, right? Stood toe to toe with my man and was able to go, I think she would be brilliant in her own series. She's doing a lot of voice acting now and everything. She's a comic book writer. She created a comic book and she's a writer and artist of comics. And so, I mean, she's all in. She's like a sci-fi guy's like dream girl. I mean, she's just like total, like, you know, but now she's doing Hallmark Christmas movies. Like I said, she's all in, bro. She's just everywhere. So I do think, though, that she has legitimately earned a spot. Like, just give this woman a show somewhere. Let her shine, because I think she's just amazing. She's a great actress, and I think she would do really well as a lead in a movie or a TV show. I think she'd just be outstanding.
Completely agree, man. Completely agree. Well, heading over to our number one, and we both have the same number one, because I feel like he is the definition of a character actor, and such a freaking badass. Like, he can do anything. And we're talking about the one and only J.K. Simmons.
Yes.
Oh my God, I love J.K. Simmons. He's so freaking good. I mean, everything that he has been in, from Spider-Man to Whiplash to everything in between. Like, he is such an amazing freaking actor.
Yeah.
National Champions that came out with Tony Winters. I just, like, my man is just killing it. He goes from like super high budget to super low indie film, and I have so much respect for him for that. But yeah, I mean, he is such an amazing guy.
Oh my God. The first place I ever remember seeing J.K. Simmons is on Law and Order SVU. He played one of the psychiatrists that would determine whether they were really kind of fucked up or not. Really kind of yeah, he's part of the Law and Order Dick Wolf like universe, man. I mean, but for sure. I mean, this guy, come on. And I get it. A lot of people listening right now are probably going, he's a lead. That's because you think he's a lead. When you see him in the role, like you think he's the star of the thing, and he's not, right? Like, I guess you could say he was a co-lead in Whiplash. I guess you could make that argument. But he was really the secondary character in the short film, right? Mm-hmm. He was actually one of the people that was in the short film, if I'm not mistaken, that led to the film getting made, the feature-length film getting made. But yeah. I mean, this guy, holy shit. Even as Commissioner Gordon and just like all the kind of stuff that this guy, he is, he's an extremely gifted guy. That how he hasn't gotten his own show or his own movie where he's the guy is beyond me, because he's a phenomenal talent. Like, I just, somebody give JK a fucking series, man, because like,
please.
I mean, just... And I'm trying to think, what do I want to see him in a comedy? Do I want to? I mean, if you see the Farmers Insurance commercial, he's fucking funny as shit.
He's like, so funny.
He'd probably be able to do a comedy with nothing, but I think like hardcore drama with this guy.
Oh yeah,
like give me some sort of a, like, if you're gonna do a news drama series or like, you know, something like that he screams. Just if you're gonna reboot West Wing, this guy should be like, you know what? He should be the Leo character. He should totally be like, he's that guy. I'm saying, man, J.K. Simmons. How can you not be a fan of J.K. Simmons? If you're not a fan of J.K. Simmons, what the fuck is wrong with you? This guy, man,
there's something wrong. There's something wrong.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, we want to know your top 5 actors, character actors that should be leads, or just actors you think should be leads in general. Be sure to message us or DM us or add us on social media. We love the fan interaction. Now heading over to the box office recap. Like we said, The Equalizer 3 came in at number 1 with $34.6 million last weekend.
Yes.
Barbie's still hanging on strong at number 2 with $10.2 million. Blue Beetle came in at number 3 with $7.1 million. Gran Turismo came in at number 4 with $6.6 million. And number 5 is Oppenheimer, coming in with $5.8 million. million.
Can I just say, now I haven't seen Equalizer 3 yet, but I have no doubt it's going to be really good because the first two were phenomenal, and it's the same lead, it's the same director, it's the same writer. It's going to be great. So this is like the first time in a very long time where I've seen the top 5 and they're all fucking great films. Agreed. They're all great films. Like, we've seen Barbie and Blue Beetle. I've seen Gran Turismo, Oppenheimer. I would see all of them again. And so, like, that's the first time in a really long time that I could say that about the top 5 movies, that they were all deserving of being in the spot and that I would see them again. Half the time I go, it was okay, but I wouldn't pay for to see it again, right? I would see all of these again. So, there you go.
Agreed. Well, movies new that are coming out this week: The Nun 2, My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. That's pretty much it. It's going to be a slow week, so we might as well just all go and see movies you can still go see. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. The Meg 2, The Trench, and M1. I mean, I heard it's rough. Strays, Talk to Me, and the ones that I mentioned above: Equalizer 3, Barbie, Blue Beetle, Gran Turismo, or Oppenheimer. Now we're going over to the IMDbPro's top trending segment. The top trending movie, which is very interesting. I have no idea what this is. You are so not invited to my bar mitzvah. Oh, this is the Adam Sandler one.
Yeah, where his family stars in it with him, right? Yeah.
I actually want to see this one because it looks pretty funny. Top trending TV show, One Piece, like I mentioned earlier. Huge success for Netflix. And the top trending star is Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who is freaking Ewan McGregor's wife in real life. And she stars in Ahsoka. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and no, because we always mention that, like, the top trending star is usually for the wrong reason, right? They're top trending because they passed away or because they got in trouble. I wouldn't be surprised if next week it's Danny, right? Masterson or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Sadly, it's not because of Mary's performance in Ahsoka. If you're anywhere on social media, this woman is trending as the top trending star because of her ass. Yeah. Have you seen all the memes and all the tweets and all the like stuff all over social media because of how her ass looks in her costume in Ahsoka? People, she is a phenomenal actress. She is like amazingly talented and is just like this super awesome person. Can we not have her trending because her ass looks good in some pants? Like, I mean, come on, man. That's so ridiculous. I would buy it if they were saying it's Mary because of Ahsoka and her performance in Ahsoka. I would buy that if the top TV show was Ahsoka. I would buy that if Rosario Dawson was also on the list somewhere. But they're not. It's because of that one episode where she's riding on the thing and you see, it's just fucking ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
How you can trend. It's like, come on, man. Are we? And we wonder why Danny's in jail for rape. Right? I'm just saying, right? Like this is the mentality that we have. We're gonna make her the top trending star because she's got a nice ass in pants. What the fuck is wrong with us? Like,
so wild, man. So wild. But anyway, guys, we got to thank you so much for tuning into episode 233 of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. Thank you so much. Be sure to follow us on social media. The company is at Crazy Ant Media. The podcast is at ITCAFpodcast. And the mental health podcast, Everything's Okay, is at Everything's OKP. Yes, follow us anywhere and everywhere on social media, and you can follow us both personally on social media. Myself at J. Logan Austin and
at Crazy Ant CEO.
Yes, that's right. And you guys know you can subscribe to this podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast. ITCAFpodcast is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Stitcher, and so much more. If you're watching this video on YouTube, we appreciate you. Be sure to hit that like button below, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for all the latest and greatest notifications coming out of Crazy Ant Media. And of course, be sure to visit our website, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. Inquire about podcast consulting because we want to help other people find their voices when it becomes about creating their own podcast. It's very important. It's very important to kind of get the ropes. You know, we've been doing this for about 6 years and really nobody helped us with this. So we have learned a lot of trial and error throughout our journey. So we want to save you some time and help you out a little bit. The more podcasts, the merrier. We love it. We love it. But man, oh man, I mean, it was a great show. It was jam-packed. That's probably the biggest show we've had since the strikes have begun.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. It's the most news that's come out since the strikes have begun. So, I mean, maybe, hopefully, that means we're trending in the right direction. You know, we're getting some movement, some stuff still trying to go on. I mean, I don't know, but I love talking about the industry. I love talking about content. I love talking about, even if we're poking fun at it, at least it's there. It's content. It's available. And that's why these strikes are just, they're so frustrating. And while we support everybody, both unions that are striking, and we're in total solidarity of what they're fighting for, it's still frustrating because we're missing out on being able to do what we love. And fans are missing out being able to see what they love. And it's just, it's frustrating. So
it really is.
Hopefully by us having a show where we can pack it with that much news and talk about new and exciting things that are coming in the light of the strike and stuff, hopefully that's helping a lot of people kind of get through it, deal with it. You know, hey, check this out, check that out. We got you covered. We can tell you where to go find something good or something, you know, to get you through. If we can at least do that with the podcast, then it's a win, right?
Completely agree, man. Completely agree. And another win because this person and The Rock are helping out with all the Maui fires and donating so much freaking money. It's another reason why we love her, because she's amazing. The one, the only, Oprah!